Hello and welcome to the Pete Braley Show. Thanks for joining us today. On this show, we shine the spotlight on people that have contributed to making life better here in New Bedford or in southeastern Massachusetts. I'm sure I'm not the only person who at one time dreamed of playing for the Boston Red Sox. My guest today did that, and then what I really like is he returned home and continues to make a contribution to youth sports in our area. Please welcome Brian Rose.
Hi, how you
Thanks so
doing?
much for being here.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Boy, we've been trying to set this up since March, but then high school baseball season started, and you were flat out then. So, besides being the head baseball coach at Bishop Stang, your day job, right? You're with the district attorney's office.
That's right. It is very busy.
There
is no off season anymore. I think playing baseball might have been a little bit easier than what we're doing now, but that's okay. That's life. That's life.
What is it you do there?
Well, I'm a community. I'm in the community affairs division for the district attorney's office. District Attorney Tom Quinn is now our DA. He's been there for over 10 years, and I do a lot of the prevention-based programming, educational programmings. I'm in schools every week. I'm at the Council on Aging's. We're doing regular programming, just trying to get information out to people about what's going on, especially with the scams and the bullying and all the stuff that goes on. So it's easier to get the, especially these criminals, these scammers, if we're able to educate our community, especially our seniors, the vulnerable group. We've been doing that now, again, probably for about 9 years, me personally, especially with our seniors, and we're trying to educate them. That way they're not giving up their hard-earned money. Okay. So, I mean, scammers, they're coming up with new ways every day to try to get their hard-earned earnings. It's supposed to be their golden years. They're supposed to be like enjoying life, and they can't even answer the phone nowadays. Yeah. And that's sad. It
I
really
read
is.
something today about you should not take an airport selfie because then the scammers know you're going out of town. So they can either, hit your house, or they can call your relatives and say, "Hey, I'm stuck at the airport. I need money."
Right. You should always post after the fact, and that's something that we even tell the kids when we're doing our social media speeches. It's like, don't tell everybody you're going to Aruba for a week, because that's letting everybody know that your house is wide open.
Right,
so
right.
We always say to post after the fact. Like, a lot of people are private; they don't like to post anything. Some people post everything and then some. So you're putting yourself at risk when you're letting people know where you are, especially nowadays.
Of course, we got to talk about your time with the Boston Red Sox, but first I want to go back. You're from New Bedford, grew up in Dartmouth?
So I was born at St. Luke's,
Yep.
But I grew up in Dartmouth. I've lived in Dartmouth my whole life, other than the brief period of rentals throughout the United States, it seemed like, back in my teens and 20s. Those were the days, right? Those were the days.
Where'd you go to school? Did you go to?
So I went to Dartmouth High School.
Okay. But before that, elementary was where?
Yeah, I went to Cushman School, Dartmouth Middle, and then graduated in 1994 from Dartmouth High School. And I was pretty fortunate. I had an option or two coming out of high school. I had a full scholarship ride to the University of Michigan. But then, in June of '94, when you got the nod of the call of getting drafted in the third round by the Boston Red Sox,
wow.
It was something that we really had to sit down and try to discuss on what my best avenue would be. And to have the opportunity to play for the hometown team, the team that I watched growing up since I was a kid, again, back then we only had about 13 TV stations.
Yep.
One of them was always TV 38. So we were watching the Red Sox games, the Patriot games, the Bruins. So I did a lot of hometown rooting. And when I got the nod and the opportunity to become a Red Sox, it was a dream come true. So I had to take that trip.
Do you remember where you were when you got the word that the Sox had drafted you in the third round?
I sure do. And it's crazy. My wife says it all the time. I can remember what the count was to the guys and the pitches that I threw back in the 90s, but I can't remember what I said yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
yep.
But I was actually umpiring at the DYAA in Dartmouth. I was trying to earn a few bucks to fill the gas.
Was that Crapo Field?
At Crapo Field,
yes.
And that's when I got drafted. And
wow.
It was pretty wild.
Wow. You played Little League, I'm sure, did all that, right? Where'd you play?
I played down the South End. I was an SEYAA alum.
Oh, yeah.
Played for Luzo Auto Body. Went from worst to first, from 11 to 12. Actually, my first team that I ever played for was the Red Sox. I got a chance to wear a Red Sox jersey.
That's right.
Back then, jeans were our pant of choice. And it's funny when you look back at all the team pictures, everybody's wearing the same thing. You get the Red Sox hat, the Red Sox t-shirt, and jeans. And Joe Sylvia, a.k.a. Joe the Pipe, was my first manager. And that's where I really found the love for baseball. And again, my father and grandfather did a lot for me when I was younger, taking me to the cages, taking me across the street to Cushman School, batting practice, pitching almost every day with my father. And but that's when you really learn the team aspect, because we were 8 years old at that time. Wow. That's when you were allowed to go try out for a team. And back then, not everybody made it. And it's kind of sad, some kids who probably liked to play, didn't have the skill, didn't get the opportunity, where nowadays it seems like everybody can make a rec league team, which is outstanding, and give them an opportunity to play the game.
When was it high school, or when was it that you decided or you started to think, I could go somewhere with this?
I never really had a specific time. I just was always caught up in the moment. I loved my teammates. I loved playing the game. I love watching the game, and that's something that I think really helped me, because the more you watch, the more you learn. And we always emulated some sort of major league player when we were kids.
Right.
For me, Roger Clemens and Nolan Ryan were two guys that I really tried to emulate my game after, but it ended up being more like a control finesse type pitcher. I didn't have the stuff or the movement that Greg Maddux did, but I learned to watch him and how he pitched, and he didn't throw.
Yeah.
So I kind of changed
from strategy with him.
Yeah, I was a power pitcher in high school, and again, when I was throwing low to mid 90s. I think I topped out at 94 in the Junior Olympic Games. But the scouts that were there had me anywhere from 88 to 93, and in high school at that time it was really good. It was really hard. So I threw a lot of fastballs. I had a good changeup, and I used my curveball a little bit more than I did once I became a pro. And I think you learn how to pitch, you learn how to be available and healthy, and I think that was the key, because I did get hurt a lot as a kid, but that's normal for someone that threw hard or swings hard. It's the overusage at times. I think a lot of today's players, they focus too much on one sport and they do too much, and they're finding themselves either being burnt out at a young age or injured all the time. Where now as a coach, I try to get these players, kids, students, to become athletes and play other sports. And I think it's important, because I think that really translate into athleticism, and any type of athlete can really do well when it comes to sports. Right.
I first saw you in Pawtucket with the Paw Sox. Did you do the whole A-ball, double-A, triple? Did you have to go the whole route?
I did. And it was funny. We were actually talking about this last night. Imagine, you're 18 years old, you leave home, you go play down south, and it's your job to find a place to live, a place to stay, figure out how to feed yourself, how to take care of your laundry, and do everything that you have to do to become an adult.
So you have to do it yourself?
At 18 years old, making $850 a month. Wow. We only got paid for 5 months out of the year in the minor leagues. I remember in A-ball it was $850. In single A, I ended up going to Battle Creek, Michigan, my first real full season, and I made $1,000 for 5 months. So that year we made $5,000 as an adult, right? So it doesn't really add up. So you come up with strategic ways to utilize your money to get through those times. And again, double A, I went to Trenton in 96. So 94 draft, 95 I went to Battle Creek, Michigan. That was awesome. That was a first-time team. I'm out in the Midwest. I actually met a few people from Kellogg, which was pretty neat.
Oh, wow.
The cereal that people eat every day. That was pretty neat. We were right there. And again, Ann Arbor was right down the street where I was supposed to go to school.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. And then in 96, I went to Trenton, New Jersey, which was a rough area, but again, made $1,200 that year. Big raise going to Double-A. And then in 97, I got the call up to go to Pawtucket. I was able to live at home because, again, the salary there was only $1,500.
Okay. But still,
it was either 15 or 18. It was something small, but I lived at home, so I saved a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And it was probably the best year of my career, just to be able to play at home. Every game I pitched, I left like 80 tickets. Ben Mondor and the crew, they were so great with me and allowing me to leave tickets for people to come in and watch it. That place was packed every game, whether I was pitching or not. And it felt like home, because going there as a kid, I was the one throwing the ball over the edge asking for autographs.
And in 97, you led the International League with 17 wins and a 3.02 ERA.
That was a great year.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, that's a record that probably will never be broken, because people that do well usually get called up.
Yes.
So for me, I was young. Same with Carl Pavano, my roommate, my best man at my wedding,
nice.
guy that I met day one moving up. He had a great career, and he kept both of us out of the limelight. And actually, he ended up being the trade bait for Pedro Martinez. So Carl, it was either Carl or I to go to Montreal in the off season of '97, going into '98, and we were going to get Pedro Martinez, and they said they wanted one of us,
one of you,
and Boston decided to keep me, and which I was very grateful for, and that's when Pedro Martinez came to the Sox.
Was it cool. July 25th, 1997? You made your MLB debut.
Debut against the California Angels.
Yeah, right.
Right, not the Anaheim
or Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Right. Yeah, the California Angels.
Did you sleep the night before?
Not much, not much. And it was wild because I was supposed to pitch the day before in Pawtucket. And you see the videos online now of guys getting called up for the first
the manager's
time.
office.
You see the video of it actually happening. Unfortunately, back in the 90s, we didn't have those videos.
Right.
But I remember when I got called in by the manager, Ken Macher, at the time, and he told me, he goes, I'm not going to have you pitch tonight. And I was like, whoa, I just left 80 tickets. I have a bunch of people that are coming to watch me pitch. And he goes, well, they're going to be disappointed. They're going to have to buy some different tickets tomorrow because you're pitching in Fenway. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. But I know that the road that we took, both Carl and I mean, we were good friends, really good friends, best of friends, but we were always competing against each other as well. Friendly competition. And I think that's what makes sports so great. It's like you're always competing and you're always trying to do your best. And some days you have it, some days you don't. Mm-hmm. And we pushed each other to get to that point. And Carl got his debut the next year with Montreal, and just so happy to get that opportunity and to try to stick around and help the team.
Did I read that you pitched at the old Yankee Stadium? I
pitched at a lot of places, and a lot of old places.
Yeah, that aren't used anymore.
Right, like old Milwaukee and new Milwaukee, old Detroit and new Detroit. That was pretty neat. Yeah. There were only, I think, 3 stadiums that I never got a chance to pitch at, and it was San Francisco, which we drove by all the time, because when you play Oakland, I never got a chance to pitch in the old Astrodome.
Oh,
that was
been cool.
pretty wild. And now the stadium, it's a little bit smaller, but it's brand new. But the Astrodome, you watch the Bad News Bears, right? They filmed there. That was pretty neat. I never got a chance to go there. And then Arizona's it was a newer team, so I never got a chance to pitch at that stadium. But again, drove by it when I was in spring training with the Colorado Rockies.
Did you have a favorite stadium besides? You must have liked pitching at Fenway.
I'll tell you, Fenway. It was an experience. It's what you dreamed of as a kid, especially a New England kid. To get that opportunity, the heart rate through the roof. I remember walking back in that '97 game, and I usually don't look into the stands. I never looked into the stands. I always was try to stay focused. Mm-hmm. And I remember I got caught looking up just in awe of, again, you got 32,000 people at the time, I think. And I swear I saw a bunch of Dartmouth people. And I'm like, I see my teachers, I see some coaches, it felt like I was in the family section, but it wasn't. There were so many people from this area that ended up going up there to support me. It was just a great, great day that I'll never forget.
So you pitched for the Red Sox and 2 other or 3 other teams?
Well, I got traded to Colorado in 2000, and I finished off the year there. I actually had a pretty good run while I was over there. Didn't realize that my eyes were as bad as they were, because when we went from the American League to the National League, you had to hit. So in that offseason, I ended up having eye surgery. And I remember it was Trot Nixon's dad who did the research at that time on who did the best LASIK. And there was a hospital in Boston that did it.
Yep.
So it was great. I told Trot, you go first, and I'll go after that. We'll see how it goes. And so I ended up getting the LASIK, and I couldn't believe, especially the following year, that you could actually see the spin of the ball while you're hitting. I only saw like a white blur.
Right.
And I went, oh my goodness, no wonder why I struggled so bad with our bunting and hitting.
Wow.
The next spring training, I actually went and I was doing very, very well. And unfortunately, I got traded to the New York Mets and then to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. I went right back to the American League and never really got a chance to do much hitting.
Injuries? That's what ended things?
Well, it seemed to be a part of the problem. I know I ended up blowing out my elbow, having the need for Tommy John, actually almost twice. It happened once with the Red Sox, and we decided, and the doctors decided at the time, to just let it heal on its own. And Dr. Andrews, who's probably the best guy in the world to do that type of surgery, he said, I'll see you in a couple of years. And I didn't really think much of it at the time, but he knew
it was going to happen.
How it's going to happen. That's why I think nowadays guys are trying to get this Tommy John done as soon as possible, because now it's put together, it's in place. The rehab that you do after it really does strengthen your elbow, because throwing is an unnatural movement. It really is.
Yeah.
So the workouts, the planning, the rest, all the things that come into it really is to keep a person healthy. That's why we do it. They know they can play, but can they play at that 95%, 90%? Me, it felt like at most times I was at like 70%, doing my best just to try to get through. So that rest helped. I ended up pitching pretty well for 2 years. And then I think I was in AAA in Durham the last game of the year. I think I was 9-1. I had like a 2 ERA. I was ready to go back to the major leagues. And that 4th inning, we were up 5-0, I want to say, and I felt something just snap. And you know me, I'm not going to really so I tried again, and sure enough, I felt that pain. My elbow swelled pretty good, and after the game, I got called in the office, and they said, he goes, you don't know how sorry I am for you. And I was like, no, I'll be fine. And it was Bill Evers was the manager. And he goes, no, Rosie, you don't understand. You don't understand how sorry I am for you. And I said, was I getting called up after this game? And he said, you sure were.
Oh, my goodness.
But because of the injury, I went to surgery. They didn't pick up my options. That's business. And I had to sign a minor league deal with the Kansas City Royals, who I was with for 2 years. And then I signed another minor league deal with the Cincinnati Reds. And I finished off the last 2 years with them. I was probably the player of the year, pitcher of the year in 2004 for the Cincinnati Reds. And then the next year, I was slated to be the 4th or 5th starter, and ended up breaking my leg in the offseason, and had to rehab that and come back. And it just didn't. Nothing really worked the way it used to once you get put back together.
I wanted to ask you though, do you think that experience with your elbow and everything, do you think that has helped you as a coach now in handling players?
I've had a lot of injuries. I've seen the training room with other injuries. I wasn't a runner, but I know hamstrings and groins and quads really come into play with the speedier type players, position players. So watching them and talking to these guys and talking to coaches, and I was a student of the game, so I always asked questions, and I'm always trying to get better and learn more. I think that's why I think I had a lot of success too, because I would think the game while I was out there and see what players were trying to do. So now when I'm coaching, I remember a lot of these things. I forgot a few, but you try your best. But it's the one-on-ones with the players, the getting to know the player on a one-on-one level, I think what makes a good head coach or a good manager. And honestly, I think that's why Cora has such a great run with the Red Sox, because he has that same type of relationship with his guys. And again, it's hard in high school because you only have a small window to work with your players. But me having my own baseball business, having to be able to coach guys through a bunch of months, you really learn them. And then as the years go by, you know how to push their buttons. You know how to coach one person hard, somebody maybe not so hard, and try to get the best out of each player. And I
want to ask you about
that's how it goes.
I want to ask you about your baseball business in a minute, but one question I was curious about. Who do you have in your contacts, in your phone, that I would be surprised at? You still keep in touch with guys you played with?
I do and I don't. And we are now all on like Facebook pages.
Okay.
So it's a small number now, and that's always a question that you like to ask. But it's funny because when you had your old teammates, over the years, it starts to dwindle a little bit. But like Carl and I still talk a lot. I'm with the Red Sox alumni, so I see a lot of people. Like Derek Lowe's a good friend. Varitek is still there. Louis Maloney. His son actually played against us a couple of summers ago, which was pretty neat.
That's right, from Framingham, right?
Yeah, but you start running into people, that are almost doing the same thing. And I just got invited to go do Red Sox fantasy camp this year.
Oh, cool.
So I'm excited to be, and I've always kind of wanted to do it, but I never had the time because I coached high school hockey. I coached baseball. I'm always doing something. So this year I'm going to take the week and I'm going to go down to Fort Myers and put the uniform back on and coach, play type deal. Probably won't play very well, but we'll coach as well.
Oh, I hope you take some videos of that.
That'll be fun.
It'll be great
that'll
to
be
see.
fun.
Yeah. So I mentioned in the opening that I'm so glad you came back. You came home. A lot of guys don't always do that. They see the bright lights, they go chase them, and that more power to them for doing that. Was that always in your mind that you were going to come back home?
Yes and no. I played at a lot of good places, but there's nothing like coming home.
Yeah.
And when your family is here, and I had kids at a young age too, they were in the school system.
You have 4 children?
I have 4 children. And living in Dartmouth, we have one of the better school systems in the area, in the state, really. And they have friends. They have sports. They have teams. They had things that they were engulfed in and intertwined with other parents and other kids and sleepovers. And for me to take that all away and for us to go somewhere else, I don't think that would have been fair to them, especially my wife. My wife, God bless her, Tara and I have been married over 25 years, together over 30 years, and it's probably close to over 35 years now. But like, she ran the house when I was gone. I was gone for 9 months out of the year.
Yeah.
It was nice playing at home because I was able to be here. But when I got sent out west, they would come visit, but then they'd have to go back because of school and stuff like that. Right. So it was tough for all of us. And I think once I had Callie, my youngest, I said, this is the one I'm going to see every day, because she is the only child of mine that I've seen almost every day.
Oh, wow.
And that's the sacrifice that you have to give, not only my sacrifice, but my wife as well, to being a professional athlete. It's tough.
In the few minutes we have left, Brian Rose Baseball, when did that come about, and was that always an idea you had?
Well, when I retired, I said I wanted to give back to the community, and I wanted to teach some of the things that I've learned, little things that really do matter in the scope of things, to the kids. So I started off by doing, and again, I always did like the Red Sox stuff. So when the Jimmy Fund had events, when we had clinics, we had appearances, I was always involved in that. I love the PR side of that. I love talking to fans and signing autographs. I was always the guy that was out there for an hour after every game, especially in Pawtucket. They were great. It was great to have fans out there. But I said I wanted to give back. So I started off doing just camps. And honestly, I then transitioned to doing lessons, just to make a few extra bucks to try to, help out with some of the bills and whatnot. Because unfortunately, I didn't make the big money some of these guys made, right? So had to figure out something. And I had one player in particular who I did lessons with, Mike Devlin, and he said, "I would love for you to be my coach. Would you be interested in coaching me if a bunch of my guys wanted to play? Because I like how you coach me." And that just, it hit home. It really hit home. And I said, you know what? Let's do it. So we started off with one team. That translated to 2 teams,
How many
to 4
do you have
teams. Now? I mean, I think we had 13 last year. I think we're right around 10 or 12, which is great. I mean, again, I'm trying to offer an opportunity for kids to play in the Perfect Game League, which is what we're in now. There are organizations all over the map now.
Yeah.
When we first started, it was probably like 2 or 3 of us. And we try to make it affordable. We try to make it so it's especially for the better players, the competitions, there's many levels of play. And for me, I just love baseball. And to see good baseball is even better. Yeah. And again, taking the helm at Bishop Stang, love the fact that I got into high school ball because I missed the day and day of baseball. I really missed going to the field.
It's different when you're there every day.
Every day. And I love it. I love
the
it.
rule used to be you could go 13 days before you had to have a break. Is that
then
still
you
the
have
rule?
to have a day off. And that's still in play.
Yeah.
At Bishop Stang, we give Sundays off regardless.
Okay.
It's family day, church day. It's time to regenerate or just try to reorganize and get ready to go for that Monday game normally.
And you've had quite the success at the school. You've been in the Elite 8 or the Final 4 for the past, 4 or 5 years? I
have been blessed with watching very good baseball at the high school level. And again, I think there's a lot of players there's more players now. Like, teams don't just have one guy. It's like there's 6 or 7 guys that you have to worry about in the lineup. And to have that kind of knowledge and information to try to help out. Again, I have great coaches. We started off with just 2 of us. Now we have volunteers. We have assistant coaches. We have guys that are really buying into what we're trying to accomplish. And that's like not only creating good baseball, but creating good young men.
Yep.
Positive in the community. They're doing good stuff. And I think that's most important when it comes to high school baseball.
Well, best of luck to you. And I told you in an email or a text, I said, we do 28 minutes, but it's going to fly.
It sure did.
And we're just about out of time.
And I didn't have any of the good stories either. Maybe we'll have to do it another time.
Ooh, all right. I'll have to start a podcast.
Sounds like
all the stuff we don't have time for.
Thank you for having me.
Best of luck.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. If you know of someone that we should have on a future show, please let me know. You can find me on Facebook. I'm also on X. Go to the website, PeteBraley.com, or you can email the PeteBraleyShow@gmail.com. Always end each episode with a thought for the day. And I found this week. This is my goal now. My mission, to be so busy loving my life that I have no time for hate, regret, worry, fret, or fear. Not nice? All right. No matter what, make it a great day.